Rockeyez would like to welcome Alex Dugan, the Vanity. Hey, man, what's up? What's going on?
Hey, well, just got back from shooting a music video. I'm a little worn out. I was dancing my ass off.
Wow, what song you do?
We were doing River off the new EP, Strangers.
Cool. Tell me a little bit, a little bit before the Vanity when you were in Transco Empire. When you were in that band, did you always have like dreams of moving on and I guess getting bigger?
Really, the plan for that was, with that band and with every band and any project I ever take on, is to take it as far as I possibly can and try and get it as big as I possibly can and put my everything into it. And, I did that with the previous project, and I'm doing that with this now. I mean, I guess the only exception is I'm out of college and can focus on it, 24 hours a day.
Right.
But yeah.
Now, before the Vanity, the band was named Zoo. Was there a mutual change in the name, or the record company, or what's up with that?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a bunch of things all at once. Honestly, it was a combination of us just kind of being over it, and as well as there were some other bands and music acts that had conflicting, confusing names, and so there was a lot of brand confusion, or whatever you want to call it. So we're just like, well, on top of that, we also would rather be this other name, the Vanity. And once that kind of came into focus, we were just like, oh, yeah, let's just be that, and now we're completely set on that, and it's not going anywhere or changing.
Right. Now, the band started in 2014. Did it start under Zoo, or was that the Vanity when it originally started?
Well, we were Zoo for probably all of 4 months, and the changeover was probably in this past August, maybe. We were really Zoo. We started like February 2014, and we were Zoo for a little while, just playing local shows, which we weren't putting anything out or anything like that. We were just trying to play and get noticed and do what we could to, just play a gig for the sake of playing something, getting out there. So, we were Zoo for a couple of months, and by the time it started to get, it was always serious, and by the time it started to get externally serious is when we were like, all right, we got to change the name.
Right. Now, the EP, The Strangers, just recently was released, right?
Yeah, it was the 3rd. It was, I guess last week. The days have been flying. Yeah, so it was last week.
Wow.
It came out, yeah.
Have you had any reviews yet or anything like that?
A couple here and there. Really, the majority of the things that we've been hearing have been about our shows with Cold War Kids, and those have all been like crazy complimentary, and we're not shocked, but we're just kind of crazy, like really flattered to hear anything complimentary, obviously. This is really our first entry into the marketplace, but everybody that's at the shows, that when we had gotten to the shows and we were the opening act, and all these people had already like heard it and had already downloaded it, were complimenting us on it. It was kind of a little shocking because it was our first real, thing to put out, and it came out on the Fuser exclusively and all that kind of stuff, and it's all been pretty cool. But yeah, it's been really fun.
Cool. Now it's a 3-song EP. The first song being River. Can you tell me about each song as we go down the line? The River first.
Yeah, like what specifically, or?
Yeah, like how to come about, and and anything special that happened in the recording studio when you're doing it, or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, River is one of those songs where it just kind of came out of nowhere. It's funny about the band. It's like whenever we're not trying to write a new song, like 3 or 4 of them will just pop up in the middle of practice, which is kind of a blessing and a curse, I guess,
Right.
But, with River, was one of those things where we just walked into practice one day and all of a sudden it was all there. Like all the music was there, and I was already singing the chorus, which is really just that falsetto thing, and, I kind of had an idea of the verse and everything. It was one of those things where the song was just there in the room already, and we were just playing it, which was crazy weird and fun and awesome, but it was a blessing into itself that it came that way, and so it's been a lot of fun. We usually play that one first in shows because it just kind of comes out really
cool.
Yeah.
Now how about Cowboy Killer?
Yeah, Cowboy. That all rooted from a bass riff that Augie had played. He has this thing that he runs his bass guitar through a delay and plays it he plays chords on it like a guitar almost. So it's kind of interesting. So he kind of developed that, and then it all kind of fell into place, and it's kind of got this dancey feel to it, but at the same time, it's got the kind of drug running kind of story underneath it. So it's the happy, sad kind of dichotomy, I guess,
cool.
Which is cool.
Great. How about Black and Blue?
Yeah, I mean, Black and Blue is, it's not really a ballad, but I think it's the closest thing to a ballad we could ever do.
Right.
But that was a lot of fun. I just kind of, that one took a little bit more time to write because we were trying to get everything right. And I think definitely the most fun is we had our guitar player, Mick, actually has a master's in cello performance.
Uh-huh.
And our bass player is working right now at UT to get his undergrad in upright bass. So they were both playing bass and cello underneath, like real underneath that record. You can hear the strings kind of coming out, and it gives it a real big sound, which was a lot of fun to do because it was a little above and beyond for most, I guess, rock bands, I would assume.
Right.
Not that I know.
How hard is it for a band to really break into music these days with the internet and everybody wants to get into music now, and it has to be difficult, to really make your mark or, make a name for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult on multiple levels. I mean, the first one is there's just so much, lack of a better phrase, noise, kind of out there. Everybody, like you said, everybody's trying to be some kind of musical group. I mean, it kind of seems like everybody's trying to be a DJ, but that's just whatever, But yeah, everybody's trying to do something, and there's so many bands, and there's so much, whatever. And 0.1% of all those bands are going to have an actual sustained success enough to make a career or at least a job for a couple of years,
Right.
So it's really tough, and really, the only way to rise above it is to just, treat everything like a business. I mean, it's not very rock and roll for me to say, but, you've got to treat your band like a business, and you have to run everything accordingly and handle everything professionally, because people will respect you for it, and people will want to work with you again, especially when you're given opportunities, to work with someone like Kevin Killen or to go out on tour with Cold War Kids, stuff like that. You really have to take into account. But especially with the internet now, I mean, the internet is the closest thing to probably what South by Southwest is now.
Right.
It's just so many bands, and everybody's playing, and at a certain point, it's all commercialized, it's completely drowned out. I'm sure some people will be like, well, you're not a real Austinite for saying that. It's like, no. First of all, the real Austinites leave town during South by Southwest because they're smart enough.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
So for us, like even during South by, we're just like, well, let's play a couple cool shows. We'll be picky about it, but let's do things that we think will be fun and will be, obviously we want people there, we want attention and so forth, but do things that we think will be fun, and if we're having fun with it, then hopefully the people there will have fun as well,
Right. Right. What's the outlook for the Vanity for 2015? Yeah,
we're probably right now we're working on writing new material, getting ready for South by. We're trying to string together some like a tour of some sort in the summer, whether with somebody or on our own. It's probably more than likely going to be with somebody else. We're just working out that kind of stuff, and it's really for us. It's about getting in front of people and playing shows live, and then getting in front of people digitally too. I mean, in the same way, it's like it used to be, get out and play as many shows as you can, and now it's, well, play few shows and get out in front of them digitally or whatever as much as you can so that you can draw as many people. Because now, especially in Austin and surrounding markets as well, with you can't have a show for 10 people anymore. You have to have 50, 100, 200, whatever people buying tickets to come to your show every time, or these guys aren't going to want to work with you again, just in the slight fact that they have to pay rent just like we do. So. It's very, very tricky, especially now, because just everybody is trying to stretch the dollar, and everybody's under the gun to make rent, so to speak. So you kind of have to find mutually advantageous situations for the most part. And then sometimes you catch a break and you go on tour with a bigger band that really you just have to go there and do your best, and that's always great. But
right,
it's tricky.
Has the Vanity played out of Texas yet?
No, we've been all in Texas. Yeah, it's been all in Texas. We just did our last string of shows, and it was Houston, Dallas, and Austin. Those were our biggest shows ever. Granted, they were with Cold War, but it was pretty shocking to see that many people.
Wow. Do you feel music is a great outlet for all the problems that are going around the world at this point? Maybe music is an outlet for fans to enjoy.
It can be. Really, I mean, it's the same thing with film or any type of entertainment. It's about escapism, and if you can provide that for somebody, that's great. And if you can, at the same time, make them think a little bit about the issues that worry them or right in front of them or whatever, then great. It's definitely a great release of stress or worry or whatever. I think it's insane that big rock and roll bands can go all over the world, speak one language, and yet no matter what country they're in, the people still know the words in English or whatever language the band is.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you can go to Japan or South America or wherever, and they still know they may not know English, but they know the words to your song.
Right. Yeah.
I think that speaks volumes.
That's great, man. That's great. I know you see the Japanese people singing English, and it's pretty cool. Yet they really don't know English, but they know the songs. So that's definitely a cool point. If you went on a big festival tour or stuff like that, what would be your ultimate tour rider?
Oh, Jesus. I mean, I've got 1,001 allergies, so none of them would be food related, but probably just, I can't speak for the rest of the guys, but definitely some Tito's. some Tito's vodka and some Chipotle would probably be somewhere in that. But,
cool.
I mean, for the most part, I can't speak for the rest of the guys, but I'm pretty simple. But, honestly, I'm dead sober for most of the shows anyways, just out of respect for the performance and respect for people that have paid. I know that's also not a very rock and roll thing for me to say, but I think it's changing, and especially for me, even if I had a drink or two or six, I'm up there dancing around. I'd probably sweat it out in about 10 minutes anyway, so it wouldn't matter.
Cool. That's great. Tell me a little bit about your impression on each member of the band. Starting with Mick.
Just like what I think of them, or when you got in the studio with him, what kind of vibe you got from him? What kind of person is he to you, and what does he mean to you? Yeah. I mean, everybody in this band is an equal member, really, and I mean that in 100 different ways. Everybody contributes very evenly when it comes down to the songwriting process. But Mick is extremely talented. Even the fact that he plays guitar the way he does, and then can go, hypothetically, he could go work in a symphony as a cellist. I mean, that's just insane. He's also a sweet and nice person, and very, very committed as is everyone. And Augie just does something different with the bass that especially with that delay and everything he does, he sees it in a different way than a lot of people do, and that's he's very energetic, and I've never seen it because I'm usually not paying attention. I'm doing the show, but apparently he's a lot of fun to watch during shows too,
right?
Which is good. And despite being the youngest, he's definitely extremely mature considering and all that. And Matt, he can play 3 notes, and those 3 notes will sound better than any other notes that anybody can put together, whether it's 10 or 15. Someone can sit there and for 15, and he can do the same thing and sound even better in 3 notes. I mean, it's that perfect kind of just picking something out, and he knows exactly what needs to be. And then obviously David is the backbone, and he's a big old pal of mine, obviously. And me and him and Matt had, originally started, and everybody started we started meeting other people and putting the band together and so forth. So David's, they're all like brothers to me anyways, but David's a fantastic drummer, and he just rhythmically, he wants to make it different. He's not cool with just the normal backbeat rock and roll drift, which is perfect because it gives most songs that we do a completely different feel and a completely different look in a good way, obviously. And he's really good at taking it to a level that, all the guys in the band are good at taking things to different levels where you wouldn't normally think that it could go there, and all of a sudden you kind of perk up and you go, oh, there it is.
Yeah,
and it helps everything. But yeah, the writing process as well. Everybody, songs will be written from anybody. Sometimes I'll have a chorus, sometimes Augie will have to sing, or Mick or Matt or David or whatever. Someone's always got something, and we just build from that as a group. We write in the room together, which is a little rare, honestly, but it is what it is. It's interesting, and it's collaborative, and it's a lot of fun.
Cool. Alex Dugan, the Vanity Strangers EP just came out. Everybody go check it out. Alex, thanks for giving us a chat today, and would you like to say anything to the fans out there?
Just spread the word, man.
Cool. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Great, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
All right, take it easy. Bye.